So the second thing I'll show you is the hinge pattern. So we started off with the squat, lunge, step up variation, which really focused on knee flexion and extension. Now we're going to look at hip hinging to target the back of the legs, the posterior chain in trainer speak. So your basic hinge pattern is flexing at the hips and then standing up with hip extension. Flex, stand up. So the key thing here, especially if you're hypermobile, for the dance population we have who follows us, and by the way, you know, this is generalized advice. This works for the dance population and the general population as well. So all of these same principles apply irrespective of what population you fall into. If you're hypermobile, on a hinge, you really want to make sure that you're not dumping the pelvis first to initiate that movement. Keep a neutral pelvis, flex at the hips, my hamstrings will stop me, and then I stand up. Same thing as with the squat variation. You want to make sure that your feet stay firmly on the floor, so you're not rolling, toes aren't popping off the ground, heel certainly isn't popping off the ground. All right, so that hip hinge, if I do a number of these, that might be easy for a lot of folks. So what we're going to do is make this more complicated by using a kickstand variation. So now this front foot is here. That's the leg that's going to be doing most of the work. This back leg is in a kickstand position. So this is a way of getting like a sneaky one leg hinge without some of the balance that's needed to lift this back leg off the floor. So I'm going to hinge. So I feel that in the left hamstring. So now let's say I'm a little bit more advanced and I want to make this more difficult. I can hinge on this leg, lifting this back leg off the ground, using my hands for balance, hinging on the left leg, sitting back into that hip flexion, and then the work is that hip extension as I stand up. So that is your hip hinge. Again, as with all of these exercise variations, increase the amount of repetitions, reduce the amount of rest, and slow down. So especially on this one leg variation, if I do this nice and slow and in control, I'm gonna break a sweat from all that work. So it's not gonna take a lot to make that more difficult. So give those a shot. That is the hip hinge. Again, deadlift, kettlebell swing, cable pull through. These are all things that you do in the gym already. You can do them at home body weight by focusing on that form and the progressions available to you.